All right. Uh, I'm not starting off very well. I'm not really starting off with an awesome schedule. Obviously, the lifts, even if I fucking go to a whole new part of the state and move in all my shit into the apartment, I'm still gonna get a lift that night. Still gonna get a good lift that night. But oh my goodness. When I'm in complete control of my schedule, I always end up lifting super late. I don't know. It's not even like I'm procrastinating, and I just kind of trend towards later lifts. The fact that this gym is 24-hour doesn't really help me either. Because at least sometimes when I'm at home, I'm like, all right, fuck, well, the gym closes at 9. I gotta go now. Or, well, not like that. Obviously, I know I was gonna go. But it forced me to go earlier. So right now it's 10:13. Back and buys is not my shortest lift. 2 muscle groups, and one of them is pretty big. Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm still doing 11 sets per body part, so there's probably going to be a similar amount of time spent on back and buys, but usually buys are a little quicker. Just because it's a smaller muscle group, I don't really need so much rest time. It doesn't, like, after a hard set of curls, I don't get seriously winded and have to catch my breath or anything. Not the same as a hard set of back, where you might be bracing and really just pushing it. But I think I'm gonna go into the Planet Fitness for this lift. For one thing, just because it's a bit closer than the other gym I've been going to, but also they're not gonna be playing their music so loud, which, well, even just me normally, that's pretty fucking annoying. Because everybody that's in the gym is wearing headphones, so they already don't want to listen to the gym music. But if you got the gym music playing so loud that you can hear it through your headphones, not cool. Not cool. So in that sense, I like, well, that's just another reason why I kind of like going to different gyms. Also, I like the novelty of it. I like a little bit of a change of scenery. My days can get pretty monotonous, especially now that I'm at school. It's just going to be class, apartment, gym, repeat. Cardio in the morning, of course. But, I mean, I've got the cardio. So I live relatively close to the rec center, like the school's rec center. And I've got a little cardio bike at home in the kitchen. But I'll probably still end up going to the recs just for the cardio, purely due to the fact that it's just kind of fun in there. I don't know, I just kind of like the environment. But whatever. So, back and buys, about 10-ish minutes away. I already drank a scoop of Hostility in the Bloodshot as the pre-workout. If you were curious what that is, or what I was doing for pre. So, if you drink your pre-workout right when you get to the gym, that just does not make sense to me. It takes a fucking while to kick in. You don't drink a fucking... Let's say you like slam a Monster or something. You're not going to get the benefits of the caffeine. It's not going to be completely absorbed into your system in fucking 6 seconds. It's going to take like 20 minutes-ish or so. So usually I like to drink my pre at least 20 or so minutes before I even start the warm-up sets. So if I live pretty close to the gym, then I'll drink it at home. Or if the gym's kind of further away, like this one, I may drink it in the car. I ended up drinking it at home in this case as well. But, oh my goodness. All right, let's just get in there. Let's get hyped up. So, slight modification required for the first set of pull downs. Because like the whole stack, I mean, when I'm fresh, I can go a little heavier than that. And I'm not saying the most important factor of your training is weight. I'm not a fucking power lifter. I'm not trying to go for strength. But I think your first couple of sets, once you're warm, you're not going to hurt yourself. I'm not saying just jump straight onto like bench and throw up your max for 10 reps. But after a proper warm up, I think you should start off with some heavy fucking weight. Even if you kind of compromise your form a little bit. Because I think you're probably better off doing a couple sets where you're swinging a little bit, you're maybe not getting the perfect range of motion, but you've got a fucking ton of tension in the muscle because you're doing as much weight as you can do. And then, like, I could come back to pull downs later in this workout and I'll do them completely differently. because I'll be weaker and I won't just be like my mentality with the reps won't be okay, just fucking move as much as possible. It'll be more so okay, squeeze as hard as possible. Right? Like I always fucking say, heavy fucking sets in the beginning, lighter squeezing sets towards the end. I've been doing that for the last fucking 200 days, and every time it fucking results in a pump. Okay. Okay. So I'm kind of liking the feeling of pull downs right now. Similar to like a chest day, I'm usually going to start off with incline bench. If I like the feeling of incline bench, I could sit there and do 7 sets. Now, obviously, I'd kind of drop the weight to accommodate for the fact that I'm getting fucking weaker each set. You know, if I were to try to do like, 365 an incline for the first set, hey man, on a strong day, I could get fucking 12. But I wouldn't just sit here and do the same weight to the point where I can only do like a set of 3. I'm probably not really doing much with that. So instead of just trying to keep throwing the stack with the plate around, I'll drop the weight incrementally to something that I can handle, but it's still, pretty much pushing it, if you catch my drift. But I'll sit here for at least 2 more. Now I'm at the stack. If I think the stack's starting to feel too heavy, I'll go a little lighter. Okay. All right, let's move on to something else. Not sure what. Similar trick that I use with the pull downs. Again, the stack itself is too light, so I'll slap a plate on it. A little bit of a jerry rig kind of deal. Honestly, I probably need a gym pin. I'll text that guy and have him send one. I'm sure he'd love the publicity for it. But I just did 6 sets or 5 sets of pull downs, pretty much a lat only bias movement. I mean, sure, you get a little traps and rhomboids, but really you're feeling it in the lats if you're going hard. So now I want to move on to more of a at least mid upper back movement. So instead of doing pull downs, I want to do a fucking mid back kind of row. So single arm cable rows are sick. So I think I'll do at least probably 2 here. Again, straps are a necessity for any good back day. Take your biceps, your forearms out of the equation. You know this at this point. Whoops. Let's do some normal seated rows. So, contrarily, if that's even a fucking word, to those single arm rows, these ones are going to be a little bit more, let's just say, aggressive and fast. You know, I'm not going so much more for slow, controlled squeeze and burn. Really here, I'm trying to move some weight around and do some damage. I say this every fucking time. I don't really care for pullovers with the rope. Like if I had a rope here doing these, I don't know, I just don't love it. Can't really feel the squeeze. You've heard me say that a billion times. So instead, I do really like single arm pullovers. So with these, pretty much my technique is I grab onto this little plastic bit. I don't really use a handle. I guess if you have one of those ball attachments, you can grab onto that if you like. And I hold onto this upright just for stability. Take a slightly watered and shoulder width stance. Just go from up here to down here. Squeeze the fuck out of your lat. Nothing too crazy. Ugh. I'm not even kidding. The squeeze is unparalleled with the single arm versus double, at least for me. Okay, that's good. Yeah. Okay. All right, back is now complete. I feel pretty fucking pumped, but we'll save the pump check for the end. So I'm sure back will deflate slightly, but I don't really want to get out of the zone mid-workout. So I've got some variety of curls to do next, and I'm not sure what. I'll think about it for a minute. So part of the reason why I wasn't like a massive fan of back and buys, and I'm still questioning it a little bit now, is just because my biceps get fatigued, but not like, I don't know, what happens after I finish back, by the time I actually get to biceps, I'm like, my biceps have been used in those fucking, all those rows and pull downs. So, I don't know, I kind of feel like they're in a compromised state to be trained. But then, in the opposite fashion of looking at it, I could think, oh, that means my biceps are getting extra work all on one day and then 3 days to recover. So, I can definitely tell they're weaker than if they were perfectly fresh. So rather than starting off with a set of the 75s, I warmed up with the 30s, the 50s, the 65s, and the 75s. I did one rep with the 75s, and I knew I would not be able to get a complete set without it looking horrendous. Now, I don't mind some flavorful form, but that would be pushing it for today. So I think the 65s is where I'm going to be at. That'll be about as heavy as I can go with form that could be within reason for around 10 or so reps. Not that I'm going to limit myself at 10. Fuck, I'm going to try to get 100 reps right now. Fuck. Okay. You know what? Fuck dumbbell curls for today. I'm gonna move on to some goddamn machine preacher. I guess if you have a Planet Fitness that's particularly like strict in the way that you know I'm talking about, then maybe you've got, you know, a warranted complaint. But dude, fucking as long as I've ever lifted at Planet Fitness, I've never had a problem. Even with recording, usually they're pretty cool. Unless, I mean, so I will tell you this. If you're interested in kind of recording your sets for whatever reason, and you go to a Planet Fitness, you're asking for it. You know, like I've been shut down before when it was really busy, but you know, somebody was probably complaining, right? Yeah, I mean, I got no, I'm not going to take any disrespect from that. You know, fucking, I'm the one coming here with a, with a tripod and everything. So if somebody actually complains, I mean, you're just fucked. You got to deal with it. But, oh yeah, the only reason I brought up the point of how Planet Fitness isn't that bad is because this one has some fancy ass machines too. Like those are some pretty, well, certainly not normal Planet Fitness items. We got a badass shoulder press, chest press. I got a cool one. But whatever. So enough of that. Let's discuss the next set. So I'm gonna do some single arm preachers. Moderate or so weight. I mean, the stack goes up to 200, so I'll do one. What is that? 125 with one arm. And I do not like these handles. They're not like bad in general, but for me, they don't. My wrists don't like them. I'll get kind of. I'll feel my forearm a lot. So instead of grabbing the handles, I grab one of these little D handles, strap it around, and do curls that way. From people I've heard that tried that after I told them, they liked it. So potentially worth doing. I will say, you guys sometimes get, I'm not saying you in general, like I'm not saying you specifically, but lifters in general, I see a little bit of overuse of the D handles when they're not really needed. But in some instances, it's a good approach. So I'm gonna play some kind of music. I got my light tracks on shuffle. Yeah, this is good. Let's throw this round. Oh, fuck. Okay. I'm gonna sit here for a fucking while. I've never done these with straps, but I do like the idea of them just because I don't want my forearms to give out before my biceps. Usually when I do these with the cable, the weight just isn't that much. I don't really build up much momentum. So just holding on with my fingers, well, with my fucking hands, my forearms never give out before my bis. But with an actual stack, I think it may be in my best interest to strap in. But again, with these kind of funky, I'm doing a pull down, but I'm trying to work my lats as minimally as possible. And in the beginning, when I'm, you know, as fresh as I fucking can be in the set, I'm trying to only move the weight by pulling down with my biceps. If you can follow my logic. There we go. Oh, God, fuck. Okay. I think I overestimated my strength a little bit, but I'm certainly feeling an insane squeeze at that bottom section. Oh, God, fuck. I actually had enough of those underhand pull downs. I do like them, but with most movements, some days I like them a lot, and some days I don't really care for them. So today, those pull downs, they felt pretty good. Well, I mean, any movement I do, I can always put some work in and get some damage to the muscle, but some movements are just going to feel better. So, made the executive decision, no more underhand pull downs. Let's move on to this curl machine that I like. So, given the fact that, it's a machine, the movement path is pretty much constrained. I can't really do too much swinging. Then all I have to focus on is going hard, here to here, and then some partials at the end. So, let's hope the next song in my playlist is hype. Okay. One more. Okay. Let's go do the pose down. There's some things to discuss about this lift. Okay. Lighting is a little bit fucking freaky in here. Alright. This Planet Fitness knows what they're doing. Maybe I'll take a... Oh, we're good right here. So bi is fully pumped. Back, slightly pumped. So... I can't touch it, but I'm like right about to be able to touch my shoulder. So this pump was not my greatest ever, based on that metric. Because obviously when I'm fully pumped, I'm like maybe up here, but right now I can get all the way down here. Now, the difference visibly probably isn't that much. Like this double bi shot is probably still gonna look pretty freaky. Like kind of hard to complain about that, but slightly less pump than normal. I may revert back to, arms on their own and do just go back to the split I've been doing. Just the legs, chest, back, arms. But yeah, I don't know. I'll try this one for a little bit longer. But if I don't like it, then yeah, fuck, why would I keep doing it? Let's get some back shots going. Still, yeah, there's still some pump going on, I'm certain. Oh. What I really need... Oh, this would be fucking perfect. In the shower, how you put the fucking soap thing on the wall with the sticky pads? I need a mirror that I can just stick up here so I can see my own reflection and do these minuscule little changes. Because when you're looking at yourself in the mirror, and this is somebody who's more like posing every time, fucking taking pictures of themselves. But when you're looking at yourself in the mirror, it's pretty easy to do little adjustments. And sometimes a lot of beginners I can see, they do their poses a little bit funky. And I'm not even talking about this from the context of like a bodybuilding posing coach. But I mean, I think this is common sense. If you're doing your side chest kind of like this, it just kind of makes sense to open up a little more, right? But, well, whatever. When you're looking at yourself in the mirror, it's easy to put your arms at the same height and not be off kilter or whatever. But when you're facing backwards, I don't know what the fuck is going on, right? So I usually like having a little bit of a mirror. That could just be a personal thing. But either way, fucking... Oh, we're pumped, man. What else can I say? And this wasn't even my best pump ever. And I wouldn't really blame it on the the intensity of the lift, because I went pretty hard as I could ish. Well, you can never go as hard as you can. Every lift I've ever done, even the greatest one ever, I probably could have gone a little harder, or maybe even a lot harder. But you kind of just trying to approach perfection in that sense. You know what I'm saying? You can always go harder. But I went, in terms of my intensity on those sets, I feel like it was pretty good. Not below par for me, but I think I slacked off on the hydration and the food. I did not eat enough fucking food today. Fuck. So pretty much the plan now, this is what happened this bulk. And this happens to me every fucking bulk. It fucks me. Consistent. So this right here is January. I'm in my most flattened state here because I just finished dieting in around Christmas time over winter. So January, the bulk began. About 3-ish months of linear progression. 6,000 calories, easy. Fucking just weight going. I tracked it on I've got this fucking Google sheet where I would weigh myself every day and plug it in so I could see some trend lines. I kind of end up slacking off halfway through. When I'm making progress every day, I would plug in my weight. But then once I started plateauing and I was just hovering at 250, I kind of stopped doing it. But this is what happened. This is January, and this is now. Linear up from 230 up to 250 or so in 3 months. And then I've been kind of bouncing around. I've gotten up to 253-ish, and then I've been down 240 something, whatever. Now the whole time I've been eating enough to be in a fed state. But if you actually want to grow and make progress day by day, I mean, obviously the scale is going to fluctuate day by day. So let's say week by week, you've got to be in a constantly full state. You have to be eating more food, more energy than your body is, burning off, such that your body has to do something with that excess. Let's say I need this much fuel per day. Actually, let's just put my hand up on this line behind me for simplicity's sake. My body burns this much fuel per day to stay the same weight. So that would mean if I eat less food than that, let's say this is 3,500 calories and this is 2,500. If I eat this much food, that means my body has to get this gap of energy from somewhere, right? That's going to be primarily, at first your body's going to burn off all the extra carbs it has floating around, because if you've been eating as much food as you're hungry for, you have about, I don't know if this is even accurate, but I think about 500 grams of carbs in your system. That's why when people talk about filling up and carbing up, right? If you eat a fuck ton of carbs after not eating a ton when you're depleted, then all your muscles are going to get some extra carbs in them. Right? You'll have those carbs as an energy source. So when you first start dieting, let's say you've been eating as much food as you want, and then you drop your calories for a week, you'll drop 3 or 4 pounds. Now some of that's going to be water as well. But that initial drop when you start doing a diet, that's primarily your fucking glycogen, right? Your intramuscular carbs and water. But whatever. So let's say you're already depleted. Your body has to burn this fucking little gap of calories somewhere, and that's going to be from your fat stores. So if you were to eat this much and train, you would stay the same weight, maybe gain muscle slowly over time. We've all heard of main gaining. Now, if you actually want to fucking gain weight, you've got to eat up fucking here. And my approach is eat considerably above here. I would prefer to be fatter right now, purely because that would mean that I've been eating so much food that my body doesn't have the capability of turning it all into muscle. And that would be a sign that I'm eating more than enough food to put on as much muscle as possible. So really, I've just been fucking slacking. But, whatever. So, yeah, let's get back to what I was even fucking saying. So 3 months, perfect. Then school plus Arnold. Now I'm just making excuses, but this is what was going on at the time. That kind of fucked me. I had to actually do shit. The Arnold really got me because that was a whole day of no eating, and I was exhausted. Oh my god. So now I've been kind of bouncing around like the 247, 250 mark. So my plan for this last week is pretty much just carb up as much as possible, get as full as possible, pretty much as heavy as possible. Because right now, I could probably gain because I've only been eating probably, I don't even know, maybe the last 2 weeks, maybe 4,000 calories, which at this size, that's just not enough to gain weight. So I need to get a solid week of 5 at least, and then I'll probably put on 3 extra pounds and just be, fucking extra full. And then we can start dieting. So the last episode of the bulk, the finale, not exactly sure when that'll be, but pretty soon I'll do a little weight update. But until then, I thought I was gonna hiccup. There it is. Let's get in the car. Okay. It's time to go home. I'm probably gonna set up my desk. I haven't really unpacked everything yet. There we go. I've still got to set up my whole keyboard and everything else, the laptop. But that'll be for later. So I'm kind of curious if anybody has some insider info. What is a good music? So what'll happen is at the gym that I lifted at last night, they play the music way too loud, and it's so loud that it kind of fucks with the recording. Because what'll happen is it gets picked up, and then it's copywritten. So I've got to mute clips, and I don't want to just show 3 reps in a set with a little bit of the background music just so it doesn't get picked up. And I don't want to show a fucking 45-second set with no music either. So if get a little music reduction software or something, that could potentially help me out. Putting a little bit of responsibility on the viewer at this point. A little bit of give and take. But whatever. So decent back day. Actually, no, good ass back day. The back pump was killer. The bicep pump was, honestly, again, this is just a poor fucking preparation type deal. I didn't eat enough fucking food today. Now, just in general, as the goal was a lift, I went in there, I did all my sets, I did them all decently hard. That was the end of it. But for my standard, that's just baseline. That's that almost goes without saying that I'm gonna go in and do my workout. Not only do I want to go in and do my workout, I want it to be a fucking good ass lift where I'm going hard, all the movements are feeling good, and I'm getting an insane pump. Now, the context of that standard kind of changes a little bit, because when I'm bulking, right, if I'm trying to gain muscle mass, that means that before every lift, I want to have eaten 400 or 500 grams of carbs, a fuck ton of water, about half my protein intake ish, just because that's how if I lift in the middle of the day or kind of later, you gotta eat your protein throughout the day. That's kind of obvious. But I want to be I want to be well rested, well energized, not fucking tired. I want to be well fed, and I want to be well hydrated. If I can, rested, fed, hydrated, I guess 3. Those are my 3 tenets, my 3 ancestral tenets for a good bulking lift. And then, as long as those 3 criteria are met, I always get a fucking sick lift. Now, let's say sleep kind of got fucked. Let's say for whatever reason I only got let's say a really bad case, I only got 4 hours of sleep the night before. If I was well hydrated and well fed, I would still have a pretty solid lift, but strength would probably be a little bit lower. Maybe the endurance maybe a tad lower. Now, the food and the well-fedness and the well-hydratedness, I can really feel that on a day-to-day basis. If I didn't drink enough fucking water and I'm not well hydrated with electrolytes, dude, I could have a fucking exertion headaches. Ugh. Well, I mean, honestly, I've never really had I've been good about the liquids and the electrolytes, so I never get headaches. But if that's you, every time you go to the gym and you got a fucking headache, if I go up to you and I ask you how much water you drank today, not even how many, if you had supplemental electrolytes from, whatever, if you say fucking, jack shit for water, then guess what? I'm not fucking surprised, man. This is basic shit. Your body needs. That's one of the. What does your body need just in general for life? Food? No, water. Food, water, shelter. Food and water are right there just for a baseline quality of life. So, if you want to baller ass lift, then guess what? You gotta fucking hit it good. But whatever. So, as long as I'm well fed, hydrated, and rested, it's gonna be a good lift. And for the most part, I'm pretty responsible when it comes to hitting those, because I want to have a good lift, right? I want to have consistently awesome ass fucking lifts, because that's going to translate to long-term progress. I don't want to just be in a state of maintenance. Now, if every lift that I did was half that intensity, I wasn't eating a lot of food, I was just eating, maybe as much as I was hungry for and not enough protein, and maybe I drank a little bit of water all the time, my gains would suffer significantly. There's no chance I would look the way I do now. Now, I still slack off with the sleep. I should be better about that. But the food and water, the food and hydration, I'm pretty good on. So I should be better about the sleep. I'm always trying to work on that. But yeah, so basic point I was saying before I got off on that weird tangent is when I'm bulking, my main priority is to have a sick fucking lift. I want to be fed, hydrated, strong, pumped, all the above. It gets a little bit different when you're dieting, because the point of working out when you're dieting is to stimulate the muscle enough such that it doesn't atrophy, right, and just waste away. You either use it or you lose it. And that's fucking true as fuck, man. I've seen some pretty significant. I remember seeing this Instagram post, and it was an MRI scan, basically a scan of cutting the thigh in half, right? Looking at a bisection of your thigh, and this was in an elderly dude. These guys were 60 or 70, but whatever. It was one of them did daily exercise. He did daily weight training, and the other one did not. And the fucking difference in the size of the dude's thighs who did daily exercise versus the size of the dude's thighs, I don't know why that's a fucking tongue twister for me, who did no exercise, was fucking bananas, man. That would, just seeing that picture would motivate anybody to go to the gym, even if they're not a fucking hardcore bodybuilder at heart. But what I was trying to say was, when you're dieting, or when I'm dieting, I'm not so focused on the food part, obviously. More so, I'm just focused on having a good lift. So I want to be well fed. Well, no, not even well fed. I really just want to be well hydrated with some electrolytes. Because if I'm depleted and dehydrated, dude, my lifts are going to feel like shit. So if you're trying to diet down, let's say you got the stupid simple macro tracker. That's the name of the one that I use to track my macros. Little app, Android and iOS. This is not a paid plug. I just like it. Let's say you're tracking your calories. You looked up your maintenance calorie calculator. You're stepping on the scale every day. let's say you're even plugging your weight into a Google Sheets and pulling and like graphing it so you can see some fun visual data. If you're doing that for like 2 weeks and you see your weight going down, that part is mad fucking motivational. But let's say you're slacking on the fucking liquids, you're not drinking enough, you're not well fucking hydrated, you're missing out on electrolytes, you probably got some vitamin deficiencies. You know, I'm not going to say that taking your vitamins, taking a multivitamin every day will fix your, well, honestly, that is kind of what I think. Take your fucking multivitamin at the end of the day. But if you're dieting and you're not drinking enough water, you're not going to have a fun time in the gym. Main point I'm trying to say. I guess what I'm trying to say is just overarching. When I'm bulking, I want to be fucking totally fueled up so that I can have an insane lift. And when I'm dieting, I want to be well hydrated enough so I can have a good lift. But honestly, lifting for maintenance is not as difficult as lifting for progress. Like, I'm much more concerned with my strength output and my intensity when I'm bulking. I'm much more concerned with having a good ass lift. Whereas when I'm dieting, I still lift hard. I'm still lifting hard, but I'm not concerned with like losing strength. You know, 3 plates is going to be a pretty decent set for me when I'm dieting. Just because, you know, I'm fucking weaker. I got less fuel in the system, less energy. I'm really focused more so on getting a good lift, getting a good pump, and staying under that staying under my allotted daily calories so I can lose body fat. We're kind of fucking rambling on all sorts of points tonight, huh? I'm sure a decent amount of that was cohesive. Don't worry. Plan for tomorrow, after I go home, I've got an interesting post-workout meal. I think I'm gonna do. I got 2 1-pound ribeyes last 2 nights ago. I don't remember. I'll probably cook one, and then in terms of carbs, I gotta make the cluster dextrin shake. I forgot to make that. Fuck. So instantly, I'm gonna go home, cluster dextrin shake, then shower off, and probably get a ribeye going with some salt and pepper, probably some other seasonings I have floating around. Probably 2 packs of Nissan Rao ramen, tonkatsu flavor. It's pretty good. It's pretty fucking expensive though. It's kind of not cool. A packet of like the Maruchan ramen, the classic orange one, you know, everybody's seen it. That's like 25 cents. But these ones are like $3. I think they're fucking upcharging way too much. But they're good, so I get a couple. So that'll be, man, the steak, that's gonna be, I don't know how much. I'm gonna look it up on calorieking.com. 1 pound ribeye equates to so-and-so amount of carbs and fats. But I know that 2 packs of those ramen is going to add up to about 130 grams of carbs and 20 grams of fat. I know it seems pretty OCD, but getting into the habit of tracking all of the calories that you eat into your fucking phone every time you eat them will have a positive correlation. It will have a correlation with positive results in the gym. That's what I'm trying to say. Because I could have the most insane training regimen. I could have like a team of scientists analyzing my muscle fibers and figuring out the perfect exact method of training and doing like electroshock stimulus to really make my fucking muscles go beyond failure. But if I only ate 2,000 calories a day, I would never get heavier than 190 pounds. Now, I'm sure I'd be diced, but you know, the main fucking factor that's going to decide whether or not you get bigger or smaller, well, I don't want to say smaller, let's say bigger or leaner. You're never going to be in a state of muscle loss if you know what you're doing. Well, let's say extreme muscle loss. But yeah, the main fucking factor that's going to decide that is how much food you eat. You know, the guy who, let's say you got two dudes, both of them have a maintenance calories, like both of them, their body burns 3,000 calories per day. I don't care what they weigh, it's arbitrary, I don't even know, whatever. You take these two dudes. Now, one of them is training like an absolute fucking freak for 6 months, and he's only eating 3,000 calories per day. Now, the amount of muscle that he's going to gain compared to the guy who trains with, let's say even fucking, well, let's say not too much, but let's say 75% of his intensity. But that guy's eating fucking 4,500 calories per day. That dude on the left is going to gain more muscle, even though he's not training as hard as the guy on the right. Now, do not take that as, oh, I don't need to train that hard. The message I'm trying to say there is you should train as hard as possible and eat as hard as possible in a muscle gaining context, because that's going to be the best case scenario. So, hopefully you got a little bit of good points from there. Tomorrow, I'm going to wake up and, I don't know, eat something and then go do my cardio. Probably just fucking float around all day and eat food at the house. I don't really have any responsibilities until Monday. So I just get to wake up, and the only thing on my agenda is to do my cardio and go to the gym and eat my food. That's perfect. That's perfect for me. But whatever. I'll have to get used to some tasks like a fucking crewmate. But yeah, tomorrow's gonna be cardio, food, fucking food all fucking day, try to carb up. I got a bunch of gushers and fruit snacks. You know, do not take me as a diet guru. Right? I'm just well informed on how my diet can affect the way that my body composition is made up. But that's the plan for tomorrow. Before the bulk ends, I will get a clip of me going to the pool, because there's a diving well at my school. So I'll bring somebody in to record. I'll do a bunch of fucking flips. We can do a little acrobatics test. See if I still got it. I know I do, because I went to the pool earlier this summer. I still knew how to do some shit. I definitely got to make sure to stretch out though before I do that. But I think you'll be slightly surprised. I know I said I was going to do that literally all summer, but now that the bulk is actually ending, considering my procrastinative tendencies, it may be more likely to happen. You know, I said the same thing about that full day of eating. I'll do one. I'll do one of my own before bulk ends. And then I'll do one for the diet. So those two should have a very stark contrast. They will, I'll be eating completely fucking differently. But until then, you know, I'm kind of upset. I'm a little bit upset right now, because I was about to say, I hope you're doing your cardio. I hope you're doing your cardio, guys. I know you're not. I'm not that delusional to believe that you guys are doing your daily cardio. But in that sense, I'm going to hold on to my optimism and try to convince myself that at least a few of you are doing it. When I go into the rec this morning, technically this morning, it's fucking 1 o'clock. When I go into the rec, I'm going to choose to believe that some of you guys are doing your cardio at the same fucking time. That just makes me feel good. So, I will fucking see you next time.